Hi, everybody. Here we got Bullseye Handicapping. Wanted to come on now because of the fact that you guys are going to start to play now, and I'm, because I don't use horse racing information to play, um, I, I don't need to handicap for 4 or 5 hours before. I've left the horse racing bubble and went into the world bubble. Really, it's getting a little bit better, actually, the world bubble. I actually went out and got a gig for 20 hours and actually made arrangements to see someone I used to know. So, getting into the world bubble and leaving the horse racing bubble, as difficult as it is, it does have its rewards. And I'm really happy about that. I also learned from my experiences last week in doing the using the crystal clear clarity board and talking about how you can play the races without horse racing information. And one of the things that was really felt good was because of the fact that you're not locked in, meaning you're playing pick threes, pick fours, pick sixes, pick fives, and you didn't open up the racing form. You're never committed. You're always in the bleachers, just waiting and watching and practicing your black belt in the art of restriction. Bankroll preservation is just as important as playing, and playing and thinking you can win. Um, it's not only beneficial financially, but it's more beneficial mentally. The less rounds you go into fight with Mike Tyson, the better off you are. Um, you want to catch Mike Tyson on a day off where he went out the night before. You don't want to fight him when he's on his regular schedule, and that's every day. So playing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday this week, that's about 55 to 60 races, just at one track. And if you're playing another track, that's another 40. That's 100 races you could play this week. That's 100 dances that you can go to. That's 100 rounds that you have to go through with Mike Tyson. And then if you string them along, Mike Tyson becomes bigger and bigger because you gotta win 6 times or 5 times or 4 times or 3 times. Bigger reward, but the percentage of you being happy, getting lucky, and getting paid is not that good. But again, the negative experience, the trips to the hospital from a difficult week, a difficult month. It's not all joy. After 40 years, I found it to be impossible. But when you step back and you don't want to just play, and because you're not addicted to the racing form, thoroughgraph sheets, Ragusan sheets, time form, all that stuff, and you're not addicted to telling a story. I was watching SETI today. Uh, I think his show was, I didn't even finish it because it's like 2 hours and a half. And he's a powerful dude, a dynamic guy, and, you know, I feel like you can understand all of the people in the tribe, no matter what. And Seti is just, he wants to be out there, in an extremely dynamic way, and that's good because what I do with other shows and with information is basically I know that 99% of it is just nothing. It's just we're all blowhards, right? We love to. I mean, look at me right now. I'm instead of because I'm filling my time instead of playing the races with doing other things and getting into the world bubble. Even though it's about horse racing, I'm not participating in making an investment or a bet. And I normally don't play the beginning of the card anyway. I don't play the first 5 or 6 races. And when I went through the card, I didn't, I'm going to look at the sixth race, but my focus is always at the last race of the day. And I think the last race of the day represents the whole everything that I'm doing with the Diego Buster approach, just playing the race. So I think I'm going to focus on that. My mojo is leaning toward that. It complements only playing one race. It complements passing all the dances and waiting for the prom on Saturday. You know, I'm an old dude. I'm 70 now. I don't need to go to all these dances, these 50 dances, 60 dances. I just want to get to the prom, feeling really good, feeling like a winner because, again, did you come to play or did you come to win? And if you're playing a lot of races over the next 3 or 4 days, then you might question whether you just love action. You just want to play and play and play and play. And again, not only financially but more mentally, and the beating it takes on your subconscious. It's I know that horse players have giant races, not school type of races, but their races are like huge, almost the size of their body, and all they got to do is swipe out the day, and then they're ready to play the next day, like if yesterday never even happened. But that's what you do consciously, but subconsciously you're still fucked up. I mean, you're in bad shape. You just went into a round, 5 rounds with Mike Tyson today, playing 5 races, and then you played, 2 races, maybe at another track, and made a total of 7 races. Not, I'm just going to focus on one race. I'm just going to focus on possibly doing the last race of the day. Again, I'm going to fool around with the other races, and here's the crystal clear clarity board that I made for the race. Is what you call a crystal clear clarity board, and basically, this is all I need when I play a race. I just need a crystal clear clarity board. Okay, what is a crystal clear clarity board? Crystal clear clarity board basically is putting the odds where, where like the 6 is going to be 5-2, the 1 is going to be, I think, maybe 7-2 or 4-1, the 10 is going to be 7-2, the 4 and the 5 are going to be 6-1, the 2 is 12-1, the 3 is 15-1, and then the 7, 8, 9 are 20-1. And the 11 horse is 50-1. So most people's attention is going to be here. These horses here are going to get dismissed in a matter of less than a minute, especially the 11, and maybe the 7, 8, 9. Now the 3 and the 2 might come into with most players, but these horses up here, they're going to be dismissed. The 3. Definitely the 11 and the 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so this is where your attention is. You guys are now handicapping. You're looking at horse racing information to say, okay, which one of these horses do I want in my pick 3, my pick 4, my pick 5, my pick 6s? And maybe you might add one of these other horses, the 2 and the 3. But your main focus is going to be with the 1, 6, and 10. Probably Pratt's on them, or Ortiz brothers are on the other ones. Nobody's looking at the dismissed horses, like I said before, except for me. I'm playing on a different playground. I'm playing on this playground. My attention is mostly with the 11 and possibly with the 7, 8, and 9. But the 11 is going to be 50-1, and the 7, 8, and 9 are going to be 20-1. So I might go with the 11 and then one of the other 7, 8, and 9s as my 2 keys, just to give myself a chance. But I'm the only reason I'm able to look at these horses or to possibly make an investment in these horses is because I'm not looking at the racing form. I'm not using the thoroughgraph sheets. I don't even know if these horses have. I don't even know if the 11 has 4 legs. I don't know whether he's from Finger Lakes or Thistledowns to be 50-1. And of course, Irad Ortiz is on him. Morales is on him. They were laughing on him in the show at Talking Horses, saying that that he would be a huge surprise. But then they said, in this race, anything can happen. And that's the key. In this race, the whole thing is about the selection of the race you want to play for the day, or the 3 races you want to play for the day. It's all about, just, going to the dance, or, going to the prom In this case, it's Wednesday, so going to the dance with, um, you know, one race, targeting one opportunity, which with your whole bankroll for the day. So instead of spreading out, your bankroll, no matter what it is, let's say it's $200, it's $2,000, it's the same, for the person, because that's their mojo. But you know, one guy would be playing $200 and one guy would be playing 2,000, and they'd be most times, 75% of the players are playing pick string bets and playing races that are not even playable, 5-horse fields. The Jim Dandy said he was talking about that you could do a $200 exacta box, Renegade and Commandment. He's right, you could have, but it's also insane. There's no, I mean, you could also just watch it. Why would you risk $200 on an investment like that? There's no wow there. There's no way. I mean, it's just ego. And yeah, the percentage of that happening was, very, very high, no doubt about it. And for all the reasons that he said. But it's not the race. That wasn't the race. That's not the race to play. Not the race that the Ego Buster approach plays. Not an Energized, because I'm not using horse racing information. I'm looking at a race where, there's high uncertainty. Jim Denny was high certainty. I'm not in that playground. I'm not in the playground of high certainty. I'm in the playground of high uncertainty. And I'm not looking to look at a racing form where, my attention is just going to go again to these horses here, the 1, 6, 10, and then maybe the 4 and the 5. So in this race, they're going to be putting, they're going to be putting all kinds of pick 3s and pick 4s and daily doubles. Again, these horses here don't even get looked at, the 7, 8, 9, and 11 especially. And then you have to play the 11 because, again, he's going to be 45, 50, 60 to 1. And according to certainly even higher, but I think 50 to 1 is 45 to 1. People might bet him just because of the fact that Sterling said no, because Sterling is disliked by so many different people. So he might come down. People, like me, the other day when Sterling picked the 5, I was dying for somebody to beat the 5. I didn't want him to win. So there's an audience out there that if I've eliminated my ego. So when I look at that guy, I just it's horrible. I just don't even want to watch it. So I just can't wait till he's off the show, so to speak, which isn't good, but it's just the way it is. It's just unbelievable. One of the things that, again, I want to share with you is that living in the world bubble has been getting better and better and better. The amount of anxiety that you don't have, because again, what time is it? It's 1:32. So I guess the steeplechase race goes off, and then the people start playing, looking at the second race. I don't do that. I wait. I wait, and I also don't look at any the show. I don't look at the show to see what could have happened. Again, I'm not looking at any horse racing data, and that's the key. That's the key to breaking your addiction to being an out of control horse player. And here's my theme song that I love to share with you. I remember when I lost my mind. There's something so clever about that place. Even your emotions have so much space. When you're out there without care, without a touch, but most beautiful thing about the song, every bit of it is beautiful in my mind, is that I'm not crazy no more because I'm not addicted to, wanting to tell myself that this information can, allow me to predict what's going to happen in the race. And that was the joy. The joy of handicapping was to attain a goal where if I worked really, really hard and studied and everything else, that the end result would be positive. But it doesn't happen. And it didn't happen in 40 years. But the addiction kept me there, and the perseverance to, be somebody and do something was there. And that was the deformity. That was the sickness. That was the, going down the wrong path. No different than, being in your tuxedo with your girlfriend and you make a left turn and you're in Harlem. What the fuck? You're fucked up. You're gonna get and then I stayed there for 40 years. Came out with a white afro. That's how bad it got. Horrible, horrible. And Mike Tyson saw me and he said, "I'm gonna beat the fucking shit out of you." And I never got to the point of, the joy of the experience. It just became a grind. And that's when 10 years ago I said I eliminated my ego and surrendered. But then you have to reprogram your computer. You have to reprogram your brain. You got to, do all kinds of kung fu's and defenses to stop. You got to hit rock bottom. You got to smash into the concrete. But the beautiful thing is that, when you get up from being smashed into the concrete, you get a moment of truth, a possibility to change. And for 10 years, I couldn't. I couldn't fucking change. I tried. I couldn't fucking change. I tried. Boom. Miracle. I left the middle of the ocean. Mike Tyson, I left the fucking neighborhood. I grew my blonde hair back. And everything changed. Everything changed. I'm actually in awe of the change. I shake because of the fact that, I went from being blind because of my addiction to the racing form, totally blind, to a different pleasure of the game. Now I got x-ray vision, binoculars, bullseye, binoculars, clarity, with the clear, crystal clear clarity, with complete clarity of, what I want to do if I do it. If I want to try to get lucky and get paid, I'll get involved in this race because the mojo says yes. It just keeps saying yes. I get a felt sense that I want to do that. I get a felt sense that, yeah, I'm going to take a shot here. He's 50 to 1. Freaking guy's 50 to 1. And also, the let's say the 8 goes up to 27 to 1. Then I'll bring him in. And I'm only playing the race and I'm only playing the dime super because I know that him being 4th is his best chance. The 11's best chance. 3rd, I'd be ecstatic. 2nd, I win. So for him to actually win, the percentage is like 2%. 2%. So if he won, and you have him, you're getting paid. You got lucky and you got paid. And it's just being in the right place at the right time. But if you handicap using horse racing data, using thoroughgraph sheets for patterns and time form for pace and the racing form for trainer stats and for, the overall big picture. I used to look at 32 lines on a horse and I loved it. And it was tireless. I could do it for, hours and hours and hours and not even flinch. And and then when I started detaching and going from betting,
2,500 races a year to 250, reduced by 90% over 10 years. That's when, your whole mojo changes. You go from being, a warrior in the game to being someone who looks from the outside in, and now you're a master. You're like a ninja. You go in when you want to go in because you feel it. You go in because the bet made you. Your hand just kept going into your pocket to make an investment. And you'll bet either 200 or 2,000 or 1,000 or $500, whatever your money flow is. And without using horse racing data, you're either going to get lucky or you're not. But if you do get lucky with them, you're going to get paid. Most players can't even look. They're not even going to look at the horse. They're going to look at him for 5 seconds and bop, boom, he's gone. Never. They're not even going to know his name. They're not even going to know his name. It's the ugly duckling. It's the ugliest girl in the dance. But I'm interested in the ugliest girl in the dance. Why am I interested in the ugliest girl in the dance? Because when she takes off her glasses, puts her hair down, and gets in her bathrobe, bada boom, she's a princess. She's a princess. And guess who's with her? You are. You just, because you got lucky. You were in the right place at the right time, and you got lucky. And you had a pleasant horse racing, enjoyable experience. That's why I came in the game 40 years ago. And the fact that I'm able to experience that now because I'm not ba-ba boo-boo and totally out of control, and I haven't lost my mind, like the song says, right? I haven't lost my mind.
Come on now. Who do you think you are? Bless your soul. You really think you're in control? I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. I think you're crazy. Just like me. Yeah, I mean, when I played those 40 years, thinking I really loved the experience, where I am now, there's no comparison. You actually save your own life by breaking your addiction to, storytelling. There's a defect, there was a defect in me, something was broken without a doubt. And I thought jumping into horse racing bubble and trying to be a master handicapper, one of the 15% winners was the answer. And it actually became, a dance with the devil. It's funny. He says, God bless you, God bless you, God bless. God doesn't gamble. He doesn't gamble. He's not there. The devil is the one you're dancing with. God has nothing to do with gambling. So I don't know how a horse player could say, God bless you. No, he's not. He's not there. He's not in the arena. He's not on the property. So that makes no fucking sense whatsoever. I don't know why that made me crazy, but it did. I just don't get it. It's total bullshit. That's what, horse players, we are totally full of shit, man. I tell you, and I'm no different. I'm no different. But leaving the horse racing bubble and leaving my obsession to, play, Action Jackson, Action Jackson. That all changed when I learned that, you could beat a race, but you can't beat the races. You could beat a race, but you can't beat the races. So I don't try to beat the races. I just try to play a race. And I look for hitting goal many, many layers beyond the obvious. At Saratoga today, the hitting goal is the 11 horse and maybe one of the 7, 8, 9. And only playing the key super box with those super horses in the first, second, and third and fourth positions. And then playing them second another time, and then third 2 more times, and then fourth 4 times total, and just to press the bet, because him taking fourth, and if you have it 4 times, I think that that's the super is going to be around $300, but you have it 4 times, so it's worth the investment. You're going to get paid with him in one of those slots, no matter what. And you don't try to press the 169. You don't try to, okay, let me let me focus on now playing the 1, 6, 10, extra and da da da. You don't do that, because your attention isn't there. Your attention is only on the horses that you've dismissed. I'm with the ugliest girl at the dance in everybody else's eyes. Nobody's, her dress is different. My tuxedo is different. Our hairdo is different. Uh, the color of our skin is different. So we're pimpled out in an extremely negative way, dismissed immediately, dismissed immediately, and through the crystal clear clarity board, not through horse racing information, not through thoroughgraph numbers, and also because it's the last race of the day. I love betting the last race of the day. Everybody is exhausted. People are more stupid than normal, um, and it's just over the years when I've experienced this, um, and also because you're again, you haven't played all day long, so you could play your whole unit. Your whole unit isn't played all day long, and then you're detached. Like now I'm gonna, there's no reason for me to continue, because my race isn't gonna be going off till what, like maybe 6 o'clock, maybe I don't know, 6:30. And what time is it now? It's 1:30. So now I detach and I do other things. I leave the horse racing bubble. Um, I can watch things later, the show later a little bit, just to see what the mojo is. Maggie isn't there, so you don't get her commentary, but you might get commentary from one of the other people. But I think most people are going to be talking about Saturday and the Whitney. So it's I have an opinion about the Whitney that I could share with you at this point also, and that's I like the race, but I'm not in that playground anymore of playing graded races and doing all the homework and looking at, because I'm not going to look at the racing form on them, but I know them. I know them intimately, from last year's campaign. And, I understood a month ago that sovereignty is going to, it's a good idea that sovereignty gets as dirty as he's gotten, because otherwise he'd be 4 to 5. He's going to his track. He's going to the track that he adores, which is Saratoga. He's pointing for the Travers. So this race, he might only be 75%, because he's a mile and a quarter horse, not a mile and an eighth horse. But Saratoga, is his playground. It was last year. He was a monster when he got to Saratoga.
So him being as dirty as he is good because you're going to probably get 5-2, 3-1. 5-2, 3-1 on Sovereignty is still a good ticket. But and and Magnitude now is is like the shining diamond. It's Magnitude is like the Cinderella of the prom. I mean, Saturday, no doubt about it. But that was on other places, and it wasn't at Saratoga. Uh, and I don't think she's gonna. I don't think he's gonna be able to have it as easy as he's. I mean, he's gonna be facing horses that he can beat because he's already peaked at his campaign in my mind. Then you get to Nitrogen, who I think will be, dueling with, or at least, pressuring each other. And I don't like Nitrogen in this position. And then you get to, who else is in there? White Barrio. White Barrio, you just never know. I mean, he's just the type of horse where you just never know. I mean, he could win the race or run a bad race. And I would be projecting neutral. It really doesn't matter. Um, and then you get to the Tistastic. Tistastic would be great for like supers. In the fourth slot only, but I'm not playing that race the way I play without using horse. And I'm not going to handicap the race. I'm not going to open up the time form that they sent me. I'm not going to look at the thoroughgraph sheets that you get free. I'm not going to look at anything to do still. So I'm going to stay firm and keep my black belt with that. But I'm not. But my dilemma is that I think that Baez is going to be in a perfect position to run a peak effort for sure. Um, I think that Baez is nice and dirty. I think he's going to be 4-1. Possibly could be 5-1, and then it could be 7-2. Any of those odds are fine for me because I give him like the same chances as Sovereignty. I think he's going to be a better horse this year than he was last year. Um, I like the fact that he got into trouble last race and he's dirty as hell. So you're going to get priced there. But normally, again, I don't want to get involved and I'm not going to. But I also don't want to let this go in the sense of, my mofo Joe. So I'm going to, I think that an investment, on Baez, to win the race, either 100 or 200 to win the race. I'm not going to play place, and shy the bet and just making an investment. I'm gonna exercise my ego and just hope that I can have a good experience, a wonderful, enjoyable experience. Him winning by, like a half a length ahead. I don't care how much he wins by, as long as his nose gets down first. With Sovereignty coming to run him down, or with Magnitude surprising me and running big. Nitrogen can surprise me and run big. White Barrel can surprise you and run big. But the good thing is that I think that you're going to be getting a good fair value price for the investment. And I think I'm just going to put that investment in early in the day. I'm going to forget about it. Just going to forget about it. And then when the actual Whitney comes, I mean, I'm not going to watch it live. After the fact, I'll watch it and hope that I get lucky and hope that I get paid and not do anything else with it. Like because my major wager now is the Dime Super, and it would be that in the 10th race. I mean, yeah, in the 10th race today. But in that case, because that's what I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for Baeza to run. I think he's the 8 horse, and to run a race that allows me to get paid because I got lucky. And so I like to tell you that in advance. All right. So again, I'm going to detach now. I'm not going to. I'm going to now go into the world bubble and let this go for a while. I usually put on the song, do my clicky clacks, or I go dance, or I go rollerblade. But I'm not on fire, which is beautiful. So again, as Harvey Pack always says, may the horse be with you. Bye now.